Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and in this video I want to talk about snapbacks in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So obviously snapback is a very basic mechanic, to be sure. It's one of the most basic core mechanics of the game, and it's only ever gotten stronger and stronger and stronger since the game's release. To the point where basically you gotta ask, hey, are snapbacks too strong? And maybe should they be changed for whenever Season 3 comes up? So that's what we're going to talk about, so hey, let's go to it. So at its base level, obviously the snapback is just get your Dragon Rush and hey, I want this guy in instead of the other guy, right? And they get snapback in, and if they have any recoverable health, the person getting snapback in, they lose all their recoverable health. So that basically originally, like when the game was brand new, was the reward in and of itself. Oh hey, that pesky Cell's got a lot of blue health, haha, gotcha, you just lost all that health, awesome for me, right? So the thing is, we've advanced quite some ways past that. Now even, just so we know, the blue health removal is still a fine reward in and of itself, right? It's the everything else that's come since that makes you wonder if snapbacks have gone past the initial vision the developers had for the concept. So besides the fact, obviously, we get that blue life, also, when I snap you back, hey, your assists, that's not going to happen. So you see those red X's there by the names on the enemy team. So when I snap you back, hey, that's all you got. You're not getting anything else, right? So no assists, and more importantly, no guard cancels. And these kind of line up the fact here, because when I snap you back, it's universal the timing. You're always coming in on the exact same frame, you're always coming in on the exact same angle, right? And with the fact that you have no defensive options, except for now you can Sparking Blast, which is something at least, that was added in Season 2. So you can Sparking Blast on block on the way in, but other than that, you just kind of have to accept what's about to happen, right? The defender has literally no options. So here is the thing about having no defense on the defender side of the matter. So at the end of Season 1, Piccolo kind of became the new big bad, right? Because Piccolo could do like snapback, then Hell Zone, and do like whatever mix up, and everyone's like, oh, this is too crazy, right? And where we're at right now with snapback tech, that is positively mundane boring. You know, like, it's not even good enough. People don't even pick Piccolo anymore. People still pick Piccolo a bit, I guess, but certainly the prevalence has gone down, and we have so many more setups, so many more crazy things. Obviously, the prevalence of fuzzies, which we've gone over to death, right? Fuzzies is a whole thing, and now we have the new universal setup, and I'll have that linked at the end of this video if you've never seen it. But suffice to say, the universal setup, everyone gets screwed over by snapbacks pretty bad now, and it just compounds on itself and compounds on itself and compounds on itself quite a bit, because while you, the defender, you have no option basically other than the block, you have no guard cancel, you know, can't call assist, the person can then use the universal snapback setup. So that's a very basic setup, right? But the universal setup is pretty universal and just adds more layers and more strengths, and while you can't have any guard cancel capability or whatever, I'm still regenerating my assists, you know, I'm building bar, all that kind of fun stuff, and basically the amount of times I get to crack you past the initial mix-up is too much in my opinion. So here is one of the big problems, because in my opinion, at the stage of the game we're at right now, and with the level of tech we have now, with all sorts of mix-ups, all sorts of pressure, and all sorts of everything, right? It is my opinion that basically a snapback is now better than a level 3 mix-up, right? And a level 3 mix-up, well, hey, you gotta burn 3 bars, right? Suffice to say, also, many level 3s were nerfed in Season 2. Very few people have really good mix-up opportunities after level 3, unless, you know, you're this character, right? But yeah, for the cost of exactly no meter, and more to the point, you gaining meter constantly, you have better and more mix-up and potential pressure potential off just the snapback than any level 3. So basically at this point, it's almost like, why burn the bar if you're not going to get a kill, right? Because in earlier seasons, you know, especially when we're rolling with Bardock and all that kind of stuff, right? But you do your combo, and it was basically like, okay, well, I know I'm not going to kill you, but I'm still going to go for my level 3, so I can get some sort of pressure and maybe a mix-up, and if I get the mix-up right, I'll make you lose the character, right? A lot of characters, once again, Super Saiyan Goku, one of the most nerfed level 3s, period, right? But that was the whole idea, right? And instead now, for the cost of no bar, like maybe an assist at the end of the combo so you can line up the Dragon Rush into the snap, that's it, right? You get all the same stuff and more and better because you don't have to burn any resource at all. So basically, with that in mind, if we were to change how snapbacks work, how should we do it? So one of the most common things I see just across the board is people say, well, make snapback cost a bar. And this was basically started during the rise of the end of Season 1 with the whole Piccolo Hell Zone snapback stuff, right? And for maybe Piccolo alone, that might have worked, so keep him bar neutral or at the very least, maybe hopefully a little bit bar negative so he couldn't do it forever. But costing a bar is nothing, because you will gain a bar from the original combo, to say the least, and when you snap them, so at the very least now all you are is bar neutral. So keep in mind, one of the biggest gripes I personally have, and once again, why I think the concept of the snapback has gone well past whatever the developer's initial vision of it was, is this 0 meter move is as good as a level 3 move, or if not better, right? So to gain the level of snapback mix-up versus the level 3, the only fair thing to do would make a snapback cost 3 bars, which obviously is never going to happen, right? That's too absurd to make a snapback cost 3 bars. So what I would say is this. Going back to the original Defender has literally no options thing, give the Defender an option. So part of the reason why the Defender has no options is, once again, this is like a mathematically perfect thing. They will always come in at the exact same time and at the exact same height, meaning you can perfectly tailor whatever setup you have, knowing this is 100% always going to be the case. So how do we make it so the Defender has a chance, but still giving the offensive player a reward for getting a snapback, right? They get all the blue health and all that kind of stuff, sure, but like give them a bit of a reward and still give them pressure and not just cripple what a snapback is, right? And basically I've come to 2 conclusions on how we can do this. The first is make the snapback timing a bit modular. So the Defender, once they are snapped, they can hold a combination or a direction or whatever. It doesn't really matter how they get to it, but once they are snapped, they can come in at the normal time. That's always been the case, right? And they can come in a little bit faster or potentially even a little bit slower. So if I snap you back and you hold a button, right? And so you don't come in at the exact same time. So if I do, you know, my mathematically perfect setup here and you delayed it, well then, hey, my mathematically perfect setup isn't as mathematically perfect anymore, right? I have a potential chance to miss it. Or potentially same deal if you hold the button, you come in faster, right? It doesn't really matter, but just a way to get rid of the mathematically perfect setup. So once again, with this in mind, and this option, if it were to ever be in place, the Defender has a chance, and the ball's still in the offensive player's court, right? Like, yeah, maybe they got to do a little bit of a guess or whatever. Maybe they have to change the timing a little bit. Like, you can have a mathematically perfect setup against the usual way, and a mathematically perfect setup against the delayed way or the faster way, right? But not against both. At least, hopefully not, right? So that's just one way to deal with it. And the other way, in my opinion, you can deal with it is just change heights. So if I snap back, now, as the defending player, I can choose. I can come in on the ground, I can come in at the usual height, or I can come in a little bit higher than the usual height, right? So once again, your back's still the wall, ball is still in the offensive player's court, but just the defending player doesn't just have to just hold back and just hope he guesses right on the 1, 2, 3 coin flips coming his way, right? Because once again, the offensive player, if they don't crack him the first time, here's another assist, here's another assist. Like, I got more chances to crack you open. And I still got all my damage beforehand, before I did my snapback combo, right? And I gained all that meter beforehand. It's just non-stop, always in the offensive player's court, right? So these are 2 options. Either delay the come in or make it faster, or change the defender being able to change the height they come in at, just so these mathematically perfect setups don't exist anymore. Once again, pressure is still on the offensive player side. They still have a reward, but it's just no longer a single player game anymore, because that's basically what snapback setups have turned into. The game is a single player game, and there's no skill involved in blocking the mix-up, right? The skill involved is I flip a coin and you guess heads or tails, right? And that is not fun for anybody, in my opinion anyways, and especially not fun if you're on the wrong end of it. So yeah, that is my opinion on the matter. So once again, opinions are personal, right? Myself, just to let you know where I'm coming from, I've always been a more defensively minded player in fighting games in general, right? So I never like situations where the defender is literally nothing. For a level 3 super, I never minded because you had to burn the resource, right? You got to commit to 3 bars if you want your big mix-up. And a lot of those got nerfed, but in its place we got the no meter mix-up, which is potentially a lot better than the 3-bar mix-up. And it just spirals out from there, and the defender, all they can do is just coin flip, coin flip, coin flip, and I've never been a fan of stuff like that, right? Hey, maybe you are. But either way, I would ask, let it be known what your opinions are, because this has kind of always been a hot button issue, and only more so and more so and more so as we go into Season 2. So post in the comments below what you think of the matter. Are you for some changes? Do you like it just how it is? Or are you a nutter and you want to see it even get like crazier, right? Let me know one way or the other, and hopefully, hey, either way, like someone from Bandai Namco or Arxis is watching and things can move along, and at some point we'll wind up with the Season 3 everybody can be happy with, right? But yeah, that's it, I guess. So that's the end of this video, my friends. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video found you well. Go and play some Dragon Ball.